Hey, hi, hello. It's the Jesse LaSala Show, episode 46 for October 28th, 2021. How say you? Screw you. My guest tonight, Eric Hollerbach.
What's up, buddy? This is number 3. The first one I did got banned from YouTube.
It's true.
We had to re-record it.
You're a controversial man, and I'd like you to explain yourself for the things you have said, done, and or seen.
Well, I just don't like Bill Gates. Anyone who is the richest person in the world it's like, okay.
We're getting banned as you speak.
Maybe you're sociopathically ingenerous. Let's talk about the Christmas Carol real quick. So Ebenezer Scrooge, hoarding all of his money. People come in, but sir, what about charitable causes? And he's like, send them all to prison or the morgue, humbug. And then you have a guy like Bill Gates, who it's like, if you're the richest person in the world and you own a massive corporation, let's say, for example, Microsoft, why wouldn't you pay your employees more because they made you your money for you?
Like, wait, okay. Are you saying Bill Gates can actually end hunger?
Yes.
World hunger? Really? And he hasn't done it yet?
And he's like, oh, I'm just here for philanthropy. What philanthropy are you in? Jabbing people?
Interesting.
And it's like, if you look at he's done a TED Talk where he's talking about reducing the population. He goes, the overpopulation is one of the biggest problems we have facing this world. But if we do a good job with reproductive health services, vaccine, we can lower that number by 18%.
Okay, so I have agree with him because I do feel like overpopulation is a problem. Think of all the half-witted jack-offs having children out of wedlock, morons, and then you put it in hand with this new Texas abortion law where even if you're raped by your own family member, you are not allowed to have an abortion. As a Texas resident, Eric, explain this.
All right, yeah. I mean, the abortion issue is a tricky subject that I'll just completely avoid conspicuously. But what I will say about Texas is, and you say overpopulation's an issue, everyone in the world can live in Texas and all have their own house if it was like as packed as North Jersey. Okay, let me just say that again. Everyone could live in Texas in the whole world and live in their own house if it was densely populated as somewhere like Newark. Is that
one of those factoids where it's like you move the state of Alaska into the center of the United States and it's like, see here, this is how big Alaska is, and it's like,
but it's like, okay,
it's like 5 Texases.
I'm just saying, in this thought experiment, you would depopulate the rest of America. Let's just think about continental America.
I'm down.
The 48, right?
Look, I'm signed up.
The whole world could go in Texas, but then the rest of the world would have to be factory farming and trucking. You know what I mean? But
and like, also gay.
Super gay.
Super gay. You would have to cut down the population that much so that no one is reproducing.
Okay. Let me also just say this, okay? Yeah, the Earth is in big trouble, okay? The oceans are in big trouble. Why? Because people have been throwing garbage out in, garbage cans, and then they put it in shipping containers, and they go to the center of the Pacific Ocean and dump it, and then they come back and they fill it again.
I think it's pronounced the Pacific Ocean.
The Pacific Ocean.
That's right.
And they dump garbage in it, and then it's like, dude, you're effing up the whole ecosystem when you're doing that. And I think
it's pronounced fucking up.
You're fucking up the whole ecosystem when you dump garbage in the ocean. It's ridiculous. There's no like
I think it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
That's right.
When you freaking up your whole ocean. All right, but my point is, okay, but
see, I messed you up. See, I messed you up.
Let me put it like this, okay? In 1860, they came out with an invention, and it was called the typewriter. And that same year, they came out with another invention called the internal combustion engine. And from 1860, we watched the typewriter turning to, the iPhone, which we're recording this podcast on right now. So the iPhone evolved from the typewriter from 1860 to today. But we're still driving around in internal combustion engines. And you could say, well, there's been a lot of improvement to cars. They have Bluetooth. Yeah. It's shelling. It's window dressing. It's bells and whistles on a engine that consumes dinosaur brains, assholes, and the shrapnel of Brontosaurus. Why has that not evolved? So what I'm saying is, on our current technology, yeah, there's an overpopulation issue. But if you revamp our technology with what DARPA holds from us,
God,
DARPA, the Defense Authorization Research Project, and cars are like security levels. Okay, it's public knowledge that the internal combustion engine is a thing. Top secret, super top secret, ultra top secret. You have anti-gravitic shit that, it's like it just goes up and up and up.
Okay, so we were talking with a friend today.
Yeah.
Earlier. And he sort of alluded to the fact that there was possibly color television before it was released.
Yeah, DARPA had HDTV, and they had a meeting with CBS in 1945 about the next wave of brainwashing the monkeys won't be, newspapers. It'll be high-definition television, That's a great way to put, the human population brain in a theta state so you can program your sheep, your beasts of burden, to put them off track. Yes.
How do you fit pornography into this whole equation? Which is basically, okay, hear me out. So, man's primal urge is to repopulate, which involves fucking.
I read about this.
So it's the insertion of the penis into the woman's vagina. And then as soon as he climaxes, running as far away as possible from said female. Now.
Right, that messes up society because it's better if two parents raise a kid, because then their cerebral cortex grows between the ages of 0 and 5. Your cerebral cortex finishes.
God
Sorry,
damn
I'm allergic
you.
You have cats. I'm a little allergic to cats.
You didn't tell me this. I would have killed him before you got here.
What a hospitable host. At 25, your cerebral cortex finishes developing, and that's why the drinking age in America is 21, because they said, some neuroscientists, maybe they should have most of their cerebral cortex built before they start drinking.
Might be a good idea. But also send them off to work before it's finished developing.
So that they're easy to program. I dated a girl with ADHD, and I had a neuroscience driver. I was driving him around Uber. And he got in my car, and I go, what's the deal with ADHD?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Back up.
Yeah.
You're an Uber driver.
Yeah.
But also a successful comedian.
Well.
How does that work?
I'm just telling jokes to do my passion project, which is driving drunks around at night.
While drunk. No, I wouldn't put that on you.
How dare you? Whoa.
That would be my passion project, would be driving drunk while driving drunks around.
Yo, you're cutting in my dime right now.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Something about
cerebral
penises?
cortex. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had this neuroscience guy in my car who's going to be an official neuroscience doctor in like a week. And I was like driving him right before he graduated. And I said to him, I go, what's the deal with the ADHD diagnosis? Attention deficit disorder. What's with this diagnosis? And he immediately asked me, he goes, well, your girlfriend, did she have both parents, teaching her to read? And I was like, no. He goes, were they on drugs? And I'm like, yeah, both of them. He's like, well, was there a lot of chaos and drama in that? Yeah, well, the dad was in the Mexican mob, and then he fled to Florida, and then they tried to kill him, so then she hasn't seen him since then, and then her mom's been on crack, for years and years, and then she had to, drive her to rehab and rescue her car from a drug dealer and all this stuff. And he goes, okay, the diagnosis of ADHD is a crappy cerebral cortex that never was fully developed because two parents have to read to a kid and very slowly. This thing grows like a mushroom. He told me he scans people's brains, and he'll scan someone's brain and goes, both your parents have master's degrees? Oh yeah. They're still together? Oh yeah. Oh, wow. And they're like, how'd you know? He's like, well, your cerebral cortex looks like 2 fucking grapefruits. He scans other people's brains. How are your parents? Oh, they're both dead from drugs. They died when I was 4. Okay, who raised you? I was in different orphanages. They would all be very physically abusive. Like, okay, well, your cerebral cortex looks like a fucking clitoris, like tied together with a piece of silly string. And he was like, it's like the size of it would grow or not.
Right.
So it's like, that's your hard drive. Imagine a computer. It's like you either have like a really good hard drive, then it's like if you have a really good hard drive, then you're voracious for knowledge.
Right. You care about things.
Yeah. And like,
as opposed to taking in things, and whether or not you absorb it or not is...
Yeah, you just can't...
Neither here or there.
You can't stick with it because you don't have the attention span.
Or you get sort of like resentful that you don't understand it, so then knowledge is now poison to you. It's like now, if I don't understand something, it must be stupid.
Yeah, all those people with master's degrees, they're gays.
Yeah,
they're
dude,
lame,
fuck
gays.
all that knowledge. Like, fuck this, dude. Oh, you and your fucking high-powered knowledge. Like, fuck this, bro.
But that's what, a government, they would rather have an ignorant populace. That's what they count on to herd them as beasts of burden. If you're not writing your own story, someone else is writing it for you. And there's all these traps. There's honey traps out there of human potential. They're called $300 Nikes. Like, people will spend a whole week's earnings on a pair of shoes when they could have gone to Payless and spent $30. And then, got a down payment on a car and build up from there.
Or at least a trailer.
Something. It's like there's all these vampires of your human potential out there in capitalism, and they're set up very strategically by very smart corporations. Now, the one real beef I have with America is that, we have all these doctors of psychology every day being ordained by different universities. And instead of doing the very tedious and time-consuming and laborious process of unwinding bipolar disorder and housewives and orphans, what they do is they go into advertising to manipulate people into buy horseshit that they don't need and won't use.
Right.
It's that thing, you ever go back home from a shopping mall and you get this thing, and then like in 4 days it's like on your shelf and you never touch it again. And it's like, instead of having that honey trap of human potential, you could have like delayed your gratification and built your wealth in a different fashion. But all that aside, it's like, the psychologists, they're used as banks to manipulate the human population, or to sell them a medical intervention that breaks the Nuremberg Code, for example. Like, your cell phone just popped on when I said Nuremberg Code. Yeah, the Nuremberg Code.
Oh, they heard you.
Nuremberg Code number 1. You're not allowed to coerce someone to take an experimental medical intervention. You cannot coerce someone to take an experimental medical intervention.
So is that what I did by taking the jab?
Yeah, if you don't get this jab, you're going to lose your job. If you don't get this jab, you can't travel. If you don't get this jab, you're going to kill grandma.
Well, luckily I live in Louisiana, so that's... look, we just now, as of yesterday, I work at a school. It is now optional to wear the mask. And all my students were like, Coach Jay, you can take your mask off. The government said. They literally said that to me. And I had to come up with a reason to justify yeah, but I'm gonna keep it around my mouth. I'm trying to save y'all because, if Devontae Adams, the wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, can get COVID and he's fully vaccinated, then I feel like I can pass it on to kids. And a lot of times I'm so tall, I have to bend down because they're like, Coach Jay, come here. I have to tell you something. And it ends up being my uncle, his name is Jeffrey, and he has a restaurant. And it's like, why did I just bend down for you to tell me that?
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to be in close contact with children. And if I have to be in close contact, I might as well have a little mask on just to stop the spread, even though I don't give a fuck. If I get it, fuck me, I'm dead. Fuck, I don't care. But if I were to give it to a kid, I would feel very guilty about that shit. Even though it's very small percentage that would actually happen.
So the little kid said to you, the government said, okay, well, let's just take that
John Bell Edwards.
John Bell Edwards said to you, the government, okay, what does the word government mean? Govern, control, meant mind. The mind control institution said this. That's what he just said.
Yes.
Higher levels of knowledge are not gay. They're super advantageous to know what the fuck is going on in this world. Government, mind control. That's what it means.
Govern.
Govern, control, menta, Latin, mind.
Betsy Govern.
Okay, so let's also take that football player who got the vax.
Devontae Adams.
Right. So let's break this down. He got the jab and then he got sick, is what you're saying.
No, he didn't get sick. He just tested positive. He's fine. He could have played tonight.
Okay.
But we won without him, bitch.
So he tested positive in what? The PCR test?
It's like the rapid test. Yeah.
Right. So who invented that?
So he had to have tested negative 2 days in a row before he got to step on the field. And he did not do so. So he didn't even make the trip with the team. He's chilling in his Green Bay house, watching his team come out victorious. Green Bay is now 7-0 without him. That's unrelated. But the point is, it's ridiculous because so in his same receiver group, so like let's say me and you were both receivers, right? We hang out all the time. We're both watching film study. I'm vaccinated. You're not vaccinated. You have to sit out a longer period of time because you're not vaccinated, right? So Alan Lazard had to sit out because he had contact tracing just being in the same room as Devontae Adams.
Who tested positive. Now, can I talk about the PCR test real quick?
Yes.
Who invented it? Dr. Kerry Mullis. And what did he say? He goes, the PCR test is not to be used to diagnose any disease. What it does is it magnifies your DNA. You'll get a little sample from spit, anything. It'll magnify this. And let's say you have like 4 gonorrhea virus cells. That doesn't mean you have gonorrhea because your immune system could be winning the fight.
Right, but it just shows up in a test.
Like you could have, like right now, like I could have in my blood E. coli, gonorrhea, probably herpes because of my sexual history, like all sorts of things. Like I could have this, but it doesn't show up in symptoms because my immune system's winning. I mean, I even have an aunt with AIDS. There might be 1 or 2 little AIDS viruses, HIV viruses walking around in my
Also,
bloodstream.
we went to Johnson's Barbecue today, so
who knows
what you got?
Who knows? It was delicious.
You
AIDS.
had the fucking
maybe the
coleslaw.
Yeah, maybe the coleslaw I ate had AIDS. And you have. But that's what Kerry Mullis.
Also, what is boudin?
Boudin? What?
Right, you say boudin. Interesting.
Boudin?
I'm not trying to gaslight you, but
Okay, so Dr. Kerry Mullis won the Pulitzer Prize for inventing the PCR test. He said on camera, and you can find this on YouTube, Tony Fauci is the biggest piece of shit liar, scam artist I've ever met. He has no idea what's happening in the human body. He will look in a camera and lie. And I've had multiple meetings with him. Nothing. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know a quarter of what I know, but he has an agenda. He's working for people, and that's not what he should be doing. He should be concentrating on public health, but he's working for other people. He has an agenda. It's very dark and nefarious. Kerry Mullis died in 2019. In 2020, they used his PCR test against everything he ever stood for. Now, big tech is taking on this vaccine passport contact tracing. What is that? That's Big Brother saying, oh, you talk to him, oh, you talk to him. What is the vaccine passport? That is, okay, you know how like you have a puppy and he's like scratching in the neighbor's yard, so you put up an electric fence? That's the vaccine passport.
Okay, by the way, if we're just going to talk about that, really cruel and unusual behavior.
Yeah.
To shock an innocent animal.
A little puppy, his instincts, he's guided by his nose.
He wants to go there, and he's like, why can't I go there? And all of a sudden, he's shocked?
Yeah.
That is rude.
I had a psychopathic neighbor whose kid was like this little, he's probably like a banker right now. But he would take his
Millionaire.
puppy. Yeah, he's a millionaire. He's like got a pool. Like, you know what I mean?
He's probably getting blown as we speak.
Yeah, by like that lesbian who hit on me at the other show.
We'll get to that.
Okay, so he would take his puppy and he would drag it over the fence and watch it get shot. It would like have seizures getting shot.
What the fuck?
And then the puppy would go run away and he would take its neck and he would drag it through again. He's very successful right now. God bless him.
Oh my god.
But what I'm saying is
here we go.
The vaccine passport. Okay,
I can't sleep tonight now.
now big tech, right? So what they do is they find out who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated, and then they put it in your phone, and just like a puppy in an electric fence, you can only go where the oligarchy wants you to go. You know? So like it's like you're participating in your own slavery. You're participating, and that's what they want. They made it a choice. It is your free will to study the vaccine mandate or not. It is your choice. So then you get the jab or not. You cannot, Nuremberg Code 1, you cannot coerce a population to take an experimental medical intervention. And the fact that it's only been on the market for a year and a half means that a Mercedes, every time you have a new Mercedes, they do 10 years of crash testing before they let you sell it. And in fucking 18 months, they're going to jab you in the arm with RNA changing
The
technology.
Germans are vigorous with their testing, and they're killing.
Yeah. It's always the same plan, and it's coming. Who's it coming from? Who's it coming? The World Economic Forum. Oh, Klaus Schwab out of Davos. That's where it's coming from. It's always the same people with the same idea.
I want people to go right now, not to derail the whole conversation, but I want them to go to YouTube and look up your boy.
Klaus Schwab Jr. Yeah.
So how can they find it easiest?
Yeah.
What is the easiest way they can find it?
So you can go on Instagram at Klaus Schwab Jr. You know, you can go to erichollerbach.com. Listen, I was an exchange student in Germany when I was in high school, okay? One of the kids I met, he was a psychopath. He was entitled. He would walk in a room and goes, "Oh, it smells like poor people in here." Ugh. It's like, dude, you're in America right now, walking into high school. Like, maybe don't talk like that. Like, have more decorum. You know what I mean? He'd be like, "I will not talk to this person. They have mixed blood." Ugh. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you just said that out loud, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're giving away the secret a little bit too soon.
Yeah, and then, like, the kid who went to stay at the Schwab household, like, they would show up to high school in Germany in, like, fucking a Phantom and, like, you know what I mean? And it was just like I showed up in a crappy fucking Pinto every time I went to school. You know, whatever.
When you pulled up to my house,
Yeah.
you smelled poor.
Yeah, and so, you know, he would, like, eat fucking bald eagle brains for lunch every morning. You know, and it's just like,
No,
whatever.
but that's hot. That's hot.
Right. But he doesn't appreciate it. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
So then I got this weird call from the German CIA, and they're like, "Hey, Klaus Schwab Jr., he knows you, right? He's going to come to Texas soon." And the German CIA is called the Bundesnachrichtendienst. It's the BND, the Bundesnachrichtendienst. And so I get a call from them, and they're like, "Look, we'll pay you. You know, I'm Uber driving, I'm doing comedy, you know, in dive bars, you know." They're like, "We'll give you like 20 grand if you like just hang out with them and just help them get to the airport." And he gets there, you know, he shows up at my apartment. He's like getting adrenochrome. You know, adrenochrome is like the blood of like traumatized people. So he like packs that in ice. He puts, I don't know what he's doing, but he like lands.
Chrissy Teigen knows about that.
Yeah, he fucking lands a UFO on my roof and then comes in my shitty apartment and just like tortures me and like makes fun of all the girls that I bring home to the house and like for being like ugly or whatever below his standards, you know. And so, yeah, but he played Vegas recently. He was on the 500th episode of the Tinfoil Hat podcast. And if you go to erichollerbach.com, he did this whole German lesson about hospitality. So on YouTube, Eric Hollerbach's YouTube, you can go and click on the video that says Gastfreundschaft, the hospitality.
Explain the word.
Gastfreundschaft.
Yes, and also say it in the most sexy way you can.
Gastfreundschaft.
No, that was too sexy. Because I feel like you got turned on when you said that. So say it in a way that's demeaning.
Möchtest du mit mir Gastfreundschaft machen? Would you like to make some hospitality with me? Oh.
See, now that
So-
I can get down with that.
Gastfreundschaft, Gast, guest, your guest. Freund, friend.
Right.
Schaft, craft, like
Well, now,
witchcraft.
see,
Gastfreundschaft.
Okay. I'm back on.
Okay,
on board.
so the craft of being friendly to your guest is so that's what so he says in his speech that he wants to. It's easier for him to rule over peasants if they know German. So that's just like that just gets to his mentality. It's like, no, you learn my language so I can rule over you. It's like the guy's an asshole,
but he's a charming asshole. Yes?
Well, yeah, I guess sometimes. But his dad is doing this whole COVID-19 scam. So, like, that's where it comes from. The World Economic Forum at Davos. Yeah.
I mean, look, can you blame the guy? I mean, you can, but
it's just,
can you?
He's out of touch. But, yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
All right, so what happened tonight? You came over here. We had a fucking...
we had a great time at
It was a siesta. I don't know. It was a gumbo siesta. But we didn't even have gumbo. But we ate. We slept.
Yeah.
We went
so we're in Lafayette, Louisiana right now, and you took me to Johnny's?
It's Johnson's
barbecue. Unbelievable. The boudin.
It's boudin.
Boudin. The boudin. Made the boudin.
It's the boudin. It's the boudin cookout.
Oh my God, was that good? So we both stuffed ourselves with barbecue.
And you made everyone in the small courtyard leave. Explain why
I don't
may
know.
have left.
It's like when I find another comedian, I start talking comedy, and then I have a filthy mouth, and then we're eating, and I'm talking about horrible things, and then we look up and we cleared the restaurant. Nobody else is in there.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking about, just
horrible.
Possibly, not even horrible. It's just like things that people don't want to hear while they're eating boudin. Phallic symbols filled with meat.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, she was sucking my dick, or you were talking some filth.
Hey, that's guy talk. That's off the record.
I mean, this is locker room talk, Trump. You know what I'm saying, dog?
But we were having some fun. So
Don't
then
leave you hanging.
we both came back to the place. We immediately took huge 2-hour naps.
Those were coma naps.
Just processing all the
Barbecue naps.
It was great. Then we went to the Verse Beer Garden in Lafayette,
No,
Louisiana.
you're skipping a very key point. Now, you don't have to name names.
Oh, sure.
But this kind of like shaped the evening.
Yeah.
I mean, you know him more than I do.
Yeah, this is tricky territory because
I'll leave this to you.
Sure. So one of my friends is like literally a fugitive, and but he's
and you invite him to my home, which I find very bold, but also I trust your judgment, so I let it happen.
And I was very vague with you. I was like, "Oh, my friend's coming over. He's gonna join us on the show," and I get immediately thumbs up from Jesse.
Good job. Let's do it.
Hey, more the merrier.
As you speak all of this, I'm going to play the drums. So keep going.
Okay. So I say, hey, Jesse.
Wait.
I say, hey, Jesse LaSala, listen, no big deal, but my friend's coming over. No big deal. He's just going to join us for a little comedy night. What could go wrong? So he comes over, and as he's walking, as he's texting me, I'm like, oh, by the way, he's a fugitive from justice. Don't worry about it. He's wanted in multiple states, which I won't name right now. So he comes over, and I give different topics. Oh, what do you think of Tony Fauci? What do you think of the Jesuits? What do you think of the Masons? What do you think of your friends that were murdered by the Illuminati? Jesse LaSala's brain starts to melt like a piece of cheddar on a space heater. He starts going, I won't be able to sleep tonight. I can't dream. My dreamy dreams of being invaded by all sorts of FBI agent, DARPA, double agents. Wait, I thought that my car if the internal combustion engine was the latest technology, I say no. That's a tool from DARPA. They just want you to buy something and be a debt slave to their bullshit system. Their petrol dollar. Well, we go out, we have a fine evening. My friend, he's also a gentleman. He's a double fugitive. He learns how to have manners. How to walk on the right side of the street and not make too many ripples. He knows how to blend in like an alley cat in a new neighborhood. Just looking for a tail up, a cat in heat. That's how he walks by. He fits between the fabric of society. Sometimes you can find good catnip here. Oh, sometimes the CIA flips over your milk bowl. Well, we met up with my triple agent, fugitive friend from justice friend, who's one time I smuggled my friend from one city to another. And as we're going by, now, he had a court case. And I spent a lot of time researching my friend's court case, right? As I'm researching all these names of his family members, his family tree is coming at me at 1,000,000 miles an hour. This name, that name, this name, that name, this name, that name. We're driving through a small town in Texas. And as I'm driving through, the street signs. Oh, that's his cousin, that's his uncle, that's his great-grandma, that's the person that left him out of the will, that's the person that wrote the will. Boom, every street sign that we walk by is another name of his Illuminati family. Well, then he comes over to Jesse LaSala's house. And you let him right in the door. See, the vampire has to knock 3 times for entry to clear his karma of the weird shit that he breaks in. This thundercloud that follows him wherever he goes. Thundercloud of darkness, of different spooks, agencies. One of these cats, alley cats, just looking for another milk bowl before the CIA flips it over. Yeah, I guess you could say he's a traveling man, time traveling man. Maybe he was made in an incubator in a weird underground laboratory. Maybe he's a clone of a clone of a clone of an old soul lost long ago. Trapped between the underworld and the overworld. Trapped between time and space and an ever-evolving thunderdome of human potential. Well, Jesse LaSala gets on stage, but he's kind of distracted by the Green Bay Packers. I get on stage, I tell 25 minutes of nude dick jokes. I walk right off stage and some beautiful lady at the bar notices me. And she starts stroking my shoulder like an alley cat going, oh my God, they're so funny. And I'm like, wow, I like where this is going. I've had one fugitive of justice coming over Jesse LaSala's house. I wonder if it's okay if I bring over a lady of the evening. This was no normal lady of the evening, because the first place she invited me to was the strip club where she works. Just looking for another John, just another ass to fill a seat, just another milkman to fill a milk bowl. Well, lady, I'm not just an average Mark. I'm a fellow carny. That's what I was trying to do today, was fill asses in seats telling my yuckity yucks. Oh my God, you're a fat. And that's when the bartender tipped me off to a very important secret. The girl she was with wasn't a fellow stripper. It was her girlfriend. She's a lesbian. And that's a lot like what it's like to headline the Verse Beer Garden on October 28th, 2021.
Lafayette, Louisiana is a great place until it isn't.
Jesus Christ.
All right, but
yeah,
back to your boy.
Yeah.
How much can you say?
Look, I've known this guy since 2012 or 2013. I'm not exactly sure which. I would have to go back, but so that's I don't know, 9 years. And look, I read a book called Masonry Behind the Light with William Schneblin, and it's all about hardcore the peeling back the layers of the rites of Freemasonry. You enter as entered apprentice, you go fellow craft, master mason, then it splits in two, York Rite, Scottish Rite, right? So he went all the way to Knight of Templar on the York Rite, and then he earned his 32nd on the Scottish Rite.
Wait, say that again for
Okay.
our retarded listeners.
So, entered apprentice, level 1, Masonry. Day 1, enter apprentice. You have to learn how to do this ritual. And what they do is they make you recite. So let's say I'm entered apprentice. They make you recite this thing. If I ever reveal secrets of Masonry, you're going to cut up my balls. Fellow craft.
That's
if
written in the rules?
I ever reveal the secrets of Masonry, not only will I get cuts on my balls, but I'll be castrated. The Master Mason. If I ever reveal secrets, I'll be killed like Hiram Abiff and be bonked on the head and all this stuff.
Yeah,
now I'm a
man.
Master Mason.
Dude, I'm down.
Then it splits into two fraternities.
Wait
Do you
a
want to
minute.
join the York Rite or the Scottish Rite? Okay. The York Rite has 13 degrees. The top level is the Knights of Templar.
Okay.
Within the York Rite is the Shriners. There's whole Shriner
Those
hospitals.
little tiny hats?
Yeah, with the little cars. Those are
Alright.
Shriners.
That's,
There's a darker clan in there called the Jesters, which are just very, very brutal people. On the other side is the Scottish Rite. It goes up to 32nd degree. And then the 33rd is an honorary degree that very few people get.
because they don't drive the cars well enough to get...
No, that's a different fraternity. Within
Oh,
the same,
sorry, okay.
It's all Masonry. It's all Freemasonry.
Okay.
But there's two branches of Freemasonry. York Rite and Scottish Rite.
Oh, right. Okay, so the Scottish Rite is a little more strict.
No, it's just different fraternities with different magical practices. Like, for example, they'll have, when you're going up the York Rite, they say it's more like Protestant Catholic. When you go over the Scottish Rite, it's like Luciferianism. You worship Lucifer.
Fun times.
So the dark and the light. When you do rituals in Masonry, you're on a checkerboard, the dark and the light. You have to balance the dark and the light. The 32nd degree, what do you learn after you watch all these Shakespeare plays of Hiram Abiff and Osiris and Isis and these intergalactic battles between spiritual entities, and at the end of the 32nd degree, you've been a Mason for 20 years, and they go, congratulations, you will learn the royal secret of Masonry for the 32nd degree. Here it is, equilibrium. You have to keep your soul in equilibrium. Black and white checkerboard. Balance your karma. You can do good and evil. You can do evil as long as you do good. You can diddle 5 kids as long as you give to philanthropy.
Yes.
I'm a philanthropist. All the Masons say that. I'm a philanthropist. I give all this money to charity. What are you doing in the dark where you're piling cash on the light?
So it's like
Equilibrium.
every child you molest is
Right.
worth a token. And as long as you have enough tokens...
You can
You
get
can
in the
molest.
Golden Gate. Look at a
Yes.
Shriner Hospital. What, I diddled 2-3 kids, but I
All
took
right,
out...
but
But I took... What, you take out 10 kids' brain tumors. You diddle 2-3?
Bro, I'm about to throw up.
That's 30%
That
negative.
makes me want to throw up.
That's called a Shriner Hospital. Come sue me, you fucks. Come sue me, bitch. Come take this podcast off fucking YouTube, you cunt. That's called a Shriner Hospital.
God damn, dude.
What is the symbol of Shriner Hospital? Is some old white guy holding a kid like this, with his thumb up his ass.
He's like, I'm holding him up.
It's
by
always
my
the
thumb.
same. It's always the same. It's always the same homie. It's the guy, Dr. Shriner, who started it or whatever. There's a kid holding a baby with a thumb in his ass.
It always looks like Fauci with hair.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck Fauci. Fuck all these.
All right, so anyway,
yeah.
back to our friend.
He's an archon of a deep insider who, So when he was in jail, okay, my friend is homeless, He's abducted by the
Dude,
Dallas
he's living
police.
in like shit town, USA.
Yeah. So anyway, I
and I wanna take him in. Like I want him to be my neighbor. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like he's like the best guy in the world.
Isn't
like,
he a nice guy?
Dude, like we love him.
Yeah. So you have an opportunity here to all I'll say is he's my Illuminati insider. But what I will say is like he was like in jail, right?
I want to take in a felon.
Right. So he was homeless and then he was in jail. I got this phone call from an MI5 agent. I'm not kidding you, dude. It's like
all right. So describe how this went.
He's in jail. I have to call this local sheriff office, give him my credit card, put credit card money on for phone calls.
Right. Like
We would schedule phone calls, and it would be like, okay, I know I have $10, so that's going to be like 15 minutes of talking, right? So then he picks up the phone, I pick up the phone, they go, doo-doo-doo. This is the local sheriff of a city I won't name, saying that you have 15 minutes to talk, and it starts now.
Is sheriff only specific to Louisiana?
No, there's a sheriff in every state.
Okay,
yeah.
all right,
So it's just like the sheriff office collects the money to.
Because I know parishes are only in Louisiana. Right?
Yeah, but every state. It's in the Constitution.
We're very retarded down here.
The word sheriff is in the Constitution.
Okay.
So anyway, the sheriff takes the money, and then I would get like clips of like 15-minute phone calls. But every time I had one of these phone calls with my Illuminati insider, I would have a notepad, and he goes, "You can contact my MI5 agent by encrypted means." His handle. So now I have to download an app to have an encrypted phone call, right?
Was this video?
No, just it can be.
So he was masturbating the entire time. I mean, I'm not saying he was. I'm asking.
Oh, you're talking about my Illuminati insider?
Yes.
No, he's in jail.
I thought that's all they did.
All right, we only had sexy. We only had time
sorry.
for sexy talk the last 45 seconds of each call. I'm paying the money. I want to download.
That's what I'm saying.
Information.
Why am I doing this?
So he would like sketch out his family tree. I would like
with
research
the jack off motion.
I would like research all the people, all the creeps of his family tree, and we talked about this off the record. But like, all his family like owes him like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like,
yeah, this
no
is
bullshit.
This is not like some fucking.
It's not like a normal
ridiculous
situation.
like 100K situation. This is 100 million. This is a dude that is owed millions of dollars.
Crazy money, like
that is wanted.
Yeah,
I'm still digesting it. Like all this was presented to me in a very unorthodox fashion, where I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna meet my boy Eric's friend, and we're all just gonna have a beer together, and then we're gonna go to the open mic, and Eric's gonna kill, and I'm gonna go up there and eat dick because I'm too focused on the Packers game, and then a bomb gets dropped on me, and I'm like, yo." I can't concentrate. And I'm going to go tell my wife or my fiance, and she's going to be like, this is exactly what she said. She's like, I don't believe him. well, that's just something he would say.
Yeah.
And then they bonded, and now I think she fully believes it.
Well, I mean, you guys have plenty of opportunities to talk to each other in the future. And... dude, I've known him for 9 years. He's never changed his story.
That was the main point. It was like, dude, why would this dude lie about this? Like, what the fuck is in it for him?
But even, like, he would download, like, his family names to me, and I would write them all down, and I got this, you know how, like, PIs have this, like, special software?
No, I don't, but God damn you.
There's a website called Bean Verified, Ben Verified, BEEN Verified, right? Okay. So let's say you're going to hire a nanny, right?
Right.
In this website, you can type in her name, and it's like background checks.
Or his.
Background checks.
Like, done anything
this
to be
person,
a nanny in New York.
This person, was born here. These are addresses associated with them. This is their criminal record. They got a DUI, in Nebraska. They got a DUI, whatever. They bought a passport.
Bro, why are you hating on DUIs?
I'm just saying. I'm not hating.
That is
saying,
so rude.
This would come up in the website, been verified. So he would download to me his family. I look up his one on. It's like 13 DUIs. Criminal record.
that's
heroin possession, prostitution, this and that. They have hundreds of millions of dollars. I go his other fucking shitty uncle Greg, right? I look up this guy, fucking 50 DUIs.
All right.
College degree 0, right?
Seems like an issue within the bloodline.
Okay, then it's like heroin, crack cocaine, possession of this. Firearms to a minor. It's like, what the fuck is this guy into, dude?
A little suspect.
It's like these fucking oligarchs are just like the biggest pieces of shit.
I'm gonna have to check all of y'all.
Right?
Even people that haven't had anything.
But then he would download his family to me, and then it would be like, okay, this person was born from this man and this woman, right? And so I I developed this family tree. Then I'm smuggling him.
Are you doing the Charlie Day thing where you have like red dots and fucking push pins going to all these different people?
Yeah, I mean that's the only way to keep track. You have to go, okay, this connects this DUI,
this guy, and this
connects
guy,
to Fukushima.
Yeah.
Plus Fauci equals 9/11.
And
I was
also
doing that.
Alaska,
I was
pipeline, and Florida, the things falling, the condominiums.
Yeah, a condo fell in Miami. Plus the dinosaurs are dead equals his cousin. Right? It was very clear.
Dude, I'm not questioning any of that.
So
as long as you have that chart that I can see, and I'll be like, all right,
yeah, it's visual. Right, but I spent a lot of time on his thing, and then so I call this MI5 agent. Dude, this guy I was just doing all this research on this encrypted website that I had to pay $20 for to get through to the a PI software, right?
Yeah, it
called
sounds hot.
Verified.
It sounds hot.
And then I'm on the phone with this fucking guy from the city of London. He lives in the city of London.
Wait, London, Arkansas?
London, England.
Oh.
So MI5 is like the CIA of
England.
England.
There's a London, Arkansas.
Yeah. No, I called this guy in England. I made sure to get the Times code correctly. He introduced himself as a Knight of Templar, the top of the York Rite. That's why he's friends with my friend. And he's like, excuse me.
God damn you.
He's been in the States only to do rituals and to earn degrees, but they became best friends. And he's like, all right, we have to help your friend.
God,
sorry.
Fuck you.
And
this dude brought COVID into my home.
I think it's more a cat allergy.
My cat brought COVID into this home.
Who could follow this conversation by now? But so I called that guy, and it's like he co-signed the story. He co-signed the story from inside the lodge.
Right.
Like he's done rituals with him inside the lodge type of cosign.
Do you have any backstory on Michelle Obama's penis?
Michael Sotoro?
That's
so
sort of where I was getting at.
Yeah, so Barack Obama used to be Barry Soetoro. I mean, he didn't graduate as Barack Obama. He was in Harvard as Barry Soetoro. And then there's this
what a gay name, Barry.
Interesting person called Michelle Robinson, Michael Robinson, who used to be in his high school, and there's very strange photographs of Michelle Obama dancing on Ellen in pants that are loose-fitting, and as she's pendulously gyrating, something seems to be interfering with the front of her pants, like some kind of
a giant clit,
phallic-like object is bunching up the front of her pants.
Okay, look. Can we judge a woman on her giant clit, or are we calling her
I'll say this on the record.
A guy with a tiny penis.
Michelle Obama, if you will let me go down on you, I will finish the job with whatever I find.
Oh my God.
I'm saying that on the record. It could be certified by a Falcon right now, and I will follow through for the story.
Boy, you are nasty as hell.
I'll go down on Michael Santoro or Michelle Obama. And it's like, look, the proof's in the pudding. Who else would say that?
Well, also, what is the whole Michael to Michelle ratio? I mean, is it like Jose to Justin? Like, what is that name comparison where Eric to Erica, obviously.
Right.
Perfect.
Barack
Justin
Obama
to Justine?
Barack Obama even said, and I just want to thank Michael, Michelle. He's done that. He's done that. And also, the White House doctor even came out and said, what I saw was a non-op transsexual. It was a guy with a penis and a wig. I mean, I've read this. So
okay. So
the White House doctor came out and said it.
She's All That, or what's the basketball movie where Herman or whenever it's like a dude playing in the WNBA.
Yeah.
And it's like
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yeah, it's some bullshit where it's just like,
or the kicker for the team.
And now that's real life. So in Texas, it's one of the only states where they're not allowing transsexual athletes to compete in women's athletes or athletic sports. So this comes to light, especially when it comes to MMA, where actual males are beating the fuck out of genetic females, which is ridiculous. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It seems like a no-brainer. And now in this fucking snowflake culture, we have to let it pass.
I'll put my mouth where my money is. I'm just saying I will go down on Michelle Obama. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
and I'm going to live with the consequences.
That's kind of where I was going with. If you had a daughter, okay?
Yeah.
Let's make believe.
Yeah.
That you could ever find a girl. We're gonna get to this stripper that's
oh my God.
That's left jaded.
I got boxing gloves for my niece. I'm very into like martial arts for women. But yeah, it's like there's one position in MMA that happens all the time where it's like it's legal to throw elbows on the ground. And even Conor McGregor, his teammate, killed a dude from elbows on the ground. He elbowed a guy in the head so much they killed a guy.
Right.
Now you're going to talk about someone born as a man elbowing a woman on the ground into the canvas with elbows, which is the ref has to, if you got one in this position, the ref has to jump in.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes the ref is on the other side and they got to run around before they can grab the guy off.
Those 0.3 seconds could mean a life.
It could be just one more. Boom.
Yeah.
Because your head is pinned in this position. Boom. Elbow. There's nowhere
elbow
you to
to the
go.
temple.
You know. It's a death
brain
move.
Structure and the skull is not built the same. And
yeah, it's
like
a
people,
thinner bone,
dude. And people want to make it so political, where it's like, no, but he is a woman now, and it's like, bro, I don't care what the fuck he wants to have sex with. That doesn't compute when it comes to running, fighting. Like, none of that matters to me. I want it to be fair when it comes to an athletic endeavor. And that's why I will never be a Democrat or a Republican, because both of them are a little retarded.
I just think it's ritualistically degrading the society. If you have the first lady, what's the biggest joke, the American trope of a first lady we can possibly pull a wool over everyone's eyes and laugh that nobody's there to see it? What if the first lady was a dude? And even... so it's like this ritual.
I wake up every morning and pray that Michelle Obama is actually a man. Like, I literally wake up every day and I'm like, may I make it to work on time? May my wife, be healthy. May my mom be okay. Everything, my family. Also, Michelle Obama, I hope you're a man.
Yeah. Well, I think that, when the White House is pulling the scam, then they trickle it down. And you see when Michelle Obama was in the White House as the first lady, all these trans rights came up. Like, right? That was from 2008 to 2016. Trans rights. To sort of go, well, I don't feel good inside. I'm pulling the scam, so let me change the world around me instead of admit what I'm doing.
To change a
Right.
little bit of the narrative, and also an agenda rises.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, my friend who's the Illuminati insider, I mean, I was kind of, my dad he was working at 110 Wall Street the morning of 9/11. And then when I was in college, I was researching architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, this group of architects who kind of proved that the buildings had to have been controlled demolition because of the way they fell down into their own footprint. And the only way I can describe this is like, let's say you have a tree in the woods and it's struck by lightning. The tree's not going to implode into its own trunk.
Exactly.
It's not going to fall into its roots at free fall speed. It's going to snap and fall sideways. The path of least resistance is sideways. For example, in the Twin Towers, it would be like, why wouldn't the top of the building shred off and this chunk of the top of the building?
It would fall like a Christmas tree almost,
and just fall
instead of
into
entirely
itself.
down. Yeah, exactly. Brother, you're sitting in the house of an architect. My father designed this house. He knew something was stinking whenever he saw the 9/11.
Yeah.
He was like, bro.
Yeah.
He bought like half of these books in this whole house. Look around. Tell the listeners.
They're all architecture books. I saw in your brother's room. It's all architecture books.
Dude, he knows something stinks. And he hated Bush to begin with, but whenever that shit happened, it was like, oh shit. I think it sparked a little light in him that maybe a little bit of a conspiratorial light that goes off in someone's head whenever you're an architect and you see something happen that's
a complete
it doesn't
anomaly.
make sense. It doesn't add up.
And even one of the architects of the 9/11 buildings, they were made after the World Trade, the Empire State Building was hit by a B-52 bomber that was lost in the fog in the 50s. And it was just, honestly, the radar technology wasn't that good in the 50s, and a plane got lost going out of Newark or whatever and hit the Empire State Building, which was the biggest building in the world at the time. So when they designed the Twin Towers in the 70s, they designed them to take a plane strike.
Right.
Now, it sounds
still
grim.
maintained.
It sounds grim, but because they're right next to Teterboro, JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, right? So they're next to like 5 or 6, depending on how big of a radius, 7, 8, 9 Philadelphia airports. So they
like worst case scenario,
and it's grim, but it could take a plane strike. It was built to withstand multiple in the same day plane strikes.
Jesus,
that
is grim.
And one of the architects said this. He goes, "It's like if there's a plane that strikes it, right? It's like taking a pencil and poking a screen door. The screen is not going to fail because it's built so redundantly.
Right.
So it had an interior and exterior column, and it won all these prizes in architecture for plane resistance. I mean, literally, that's what it was.
Like the initial impact would not affect floors blank through blank.
So it's like, as a structural engineer architect, if you were to look at it back in the record, it would sway in the wind because its face was flush like a sail. The wind would push it. So the top floors would sway and flex. They were flexible and redundant. And, it was like it was a marvel of engineering. And then the thing that it won awards to resist took it down totally into its own footprint. It also had all these issues with asbestos. So it was under all these lawsuits because when it was built, it was all insulated with asbestos, which then in the 80s found to cause mesothelioma in everybody.
See, you say Boudin, and asbestos. So
how do you say it?
Asbestos.
That's the bestest.
So there we go. I mean, like, we park our car in the same garage.
Look,
but,
you're from Louisiana, from New Jersey. I mean, who knows?
Dude, I want to kill myself. So we're good.
Please don't.
where do we? Okay, so where do we
So
stand?
then they blow these towers up, and then they replace it with something that looks like a massive syringe to signal their next false flag will be an injectable.
I had to pass that building every day on the way to work. Yeah, the Freedom Tower, and there's the one that looks like a fucking two hands interlocking the 9/11.
The World Trade Center Path Station.
Yeah. So that was my walk to work every day, just looking at that. And I remember I was like a freshman in high school and thinking like, oh, the world's actually ending. Like, there's no trust anymore. Like, after the first plane hit, I was like, fucking drunk. You know, like, what are you going to do? When the second one hit, I was like, oh, so
yeah, something's different.
Everything's done now. Like, this is all not good.
Yeah.
What has given you any reason to believe there's anything good left in the world?
So, let me take it from my Illuminati insider. I had this nagging doubt.
Did you say the N-word just now?
Niggling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nagging, niggling. Something was niggling at me.
It's like a niglet? Interesting.
Something was nagging me.
Is that a small black person or?
Someone was nagging at me that something wasn't right with the world, right? After researching 9/11, and then it's like I meet my friend, my insider, and it's like he just gave me this massive red pill where it's like, oh, that's true, and this, oh, and it's worse than that, oh, and it's this guy's name, but it was actually this operation out of this secret society that blended into this intelligence agency. And it's like, you
it's just like the Spider-Man just looking at all the other Spider-Man.
You talked to my friend for 5 minutes, and you were like, you just had your hands
Dude,
on your head,
I didn't even want to go to work
fuck?
tomorrow after listening to all what he said. I was just like, dude, I want to check out. I'm done.
You're down. And he's had all these, his friends fucking murdered, and when he's talking about it, it's like, dude.
And they just erase. It's like the Men in Black coming and just like, boop,
yeah,
doot,
yeah.
Doot.
And not only did they murder his friends, but then they went through his friends' Facebook pictures.
Photoshop
them into it. They swoop in as the heroes doing all the burial rites when they're the murderers.
Ugh.
They're in the front row of the funeral, changing all the photos around the grave to have their face on it. I mean, it's giving me goose pimples to talk about it, where it's just like, dude.
See, you say goose pimples. I say goosebumps.
Yeah, I say goosebumps too.
I say boudin. You say boudin.
Boudin.
So
I say asbestos.
What left is there for us?
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, I've lived in New Orleans. I've lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in Austin, Texas. And it's like when I do comedy and I tell a joke and everyone's laughing together. And like, dude, I was just hosting for Jimmy Schubert at the Romo Room, and he's talking about yogurt for 20 minutes, and he's so fucking funny, dude. He was doing yogurt jokes that I did not knew were possible, and it's blowing my mind. And it's like, I call my sister, and every time I call my sister, I go, hi, my beautiful sister. And she goes, hi, my bearded Texan brother. I go, I'll shoot you dead. And that's how we talk. And it's like, my relationship with you, my relationship with Jorge Velasquez, who took me in New Orleans. It's like, I love my friends so much. I love my family so much. And I have so much hope for humanity because all my friends in my circle have a lot of love in their heart. And then you start to realize that the other side has weaknesses. The cabal who's perpetrating this has weaknesses. How do you perpetrate a murder? Photoshop yourself into somebody's grave pictures and then laugh and then sleep at night and think, you know what, I'm doing right. They have to be so fucking miserable.
Exactly.
There are some comics that are the cancel culture comics that in New Orleans and where I used to live, they try to cancel me. And
not just New Orleans though. Don't
yeah, but
I'm
just saying the ones that I
experienced everywhere.
The ones I experienced, right? And it's like they don't write jokes when they bomb, right? They point the finger and they go, "No, but this person's jokes are a problem because X, Y, and Z." Right? And you start to realize, like, when I look into their life and I start to know friends of friends, I start to know that cocaine plays a huge aspect in their life. like my whistleblowers, family members. Yeah, they inherited the hundreds of millions of dollars. They have 40 DUIs. What does their life look like?
Right.
They're miserable losers. They're sad. Their life is a fucking mess, right? When I go over my family's house, it's like we're marinating the turkey and apple cider. It's the most delicious thing. Not only do we do this, do we make the best food for each other, but we do it with the love in our hearts.
Right.
And it's like we have this Christmas spirit feeling during
There's
the
a
holidays
joy.
that is
There's a
infectious.
kindred spirits, and everything's
Because we're all
good.
conspiring for each other's happiness.
Right.
When you're conspiring to dominate humanity, you are emotionally retarded. And that's what we're up against. So that's what gives me hope. We're against people with such holes in their personality that, to me, I only see opportunity to sneak humanity through. I think humanity has a herd immunity from tyranny. And I think those who seek to tyrannize the population meet incredible resistance by people with love in their heart, and that's something that the devil does not understand.
Eric Hollerbach, ladies and gentlemen, go look him up on YouTube, the YouTubes, and listen to this little snippet that I stole from his soul. That happened tonight, and try to ignore my ramblings. I was literally watching the Packers game as I did stand up, so this was a rare form performance, but nonetheless terrible. And also, until next time, don't die.